Hello there, H. Jane Harrington here with Calamity Stampede. Today I'm going to show you how to use a Versamark pad and a blender pen to create a resist. So what I have here, I'll show you this first. I'm rather proud of this one. These are 3 pieces of art that I did using watercolor. I did the watercolor with Brusho Crystal Color. And Stampin' Up! Sells them in a pack of 5, and you can mix and blend them to make a lot of different colors. And that's what I did here. But you'll notice I did this seahorse first. Notice the bold white markings there. This was the first one I did, and I was playing, and I figured out how to make that resist, and you can see it's bold. And then I did this one next, and I was getting a little better, and by the time I got to the fish, I feel like I had the hang of it. So I'm going to show you in just a minute what that means. And you can see there are different elements in here that I used from Sea of Textures and Tranquil Textures. So I used the Big Shot die, as you see there, to cut those elements out, and it really enhanced the project. All of these products are available on StampinUp.com, and I will tell you about that later. The other thing I did making this resist was, you see that word relax? That is not a stamp. I actually wrote that by hand. And again, you can see it's shiny. I actually used the Versamark to write that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So first things first, we're going to start with the simple part. I'm going to grab a piece of Whisper White cardstock here. I'm going to grab a Versamark pad and a blender pen. Again, these are all available at StampinUp.com. So what we do, we're going to open up our Versamark and our blender pen. Now I'm going to just kind of dip and roll on the edge of the Versamark pad here, like so. And now I'm going to write a word. So I think I'm going to just do a real pretty swooping L, like so. I'm going to come back and load my blender pen again. I'm going to do a real pretty O. Load up again. So I'm just rolling it in the Versamark. And you might have to look just to see where you left off, because it doesn't show up, as you can see. It doesn't show up very well. You kind of have to look for it. Can you see that? There. And then let me finish with the E. So here's my V. I'm going to make my E right here. Okay, I think the E is a little off, but that's okay. This is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, let me set this aside. Now the next thing I need to do is I'm going to emboss this. So let me grab my clear embossing powder, and I'm going to sprinkle it on. Mine's a little dirty. It gets dirty very easily because I use it so much. I need to clean it. Okay, you'll notice that the powder adhered to where I wrote with the blender pen and the Versamark. So the next thing I'm going to do is I need to heat set this. And what the heat is going to do is it's going to melt the powder. So I'm going to turn this up. You won't hear me for just a second while it melts. Let's see if you can see the magic happen. And it'll take a minute or two. It doesn't take that long. You can see the paper curling because of the heat. Let me pick it up and see if you can see better. In just a minute, this paper, oh, it's already happening. It's getting hot enough and it melts that powder. Almost done. There goes the E. Let's finish the L and then we're done. There we go. Can you see that? It's probably hard to see on your screen, but that looks pretty good. So, can you see it now? See how it's shiny? Now that is melted, and see, it is on there pretty good. The next step, now look here. This is the danger of having embossing powder that's dirty, and I need to clean this because, see there, I'm starting to get little bits and pieces. So I'm going to have to clean it before I use it again. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my brayer And this is just our foam brayer. This is Lovely Lipstick, the ink. I'm just going to load my brayer like so. Now watch what happens when I go over this love. Watch. I'm going to go over it a few times. Oh, there it comes. Look, it's starting to resist the ink. So can you see that? Whoops. Make sure I'm on the screen here. So I'm just going back and forth, back and forth. There we go. See, so that's one way that you can use it, just by writing words. And that's how I created that right there. So, and I used the waterfront stamp set to create the other elements. And then the sparkle is from the Wink of Stella. But that's how I did that scene, was just by simple brayering. And I on this particular project, I used a sponge. I did some sponging there. But you can brayer as well. Okay, I'm going to move this aside because next I'm going to show you how I did the watercoloring there of those elements. Alright, so I did a real rough sketch just now of just a heart, and we're going to do that same thing. So I just wanted something simple. So again, I'm taking my blender pen and I'm rolling it at the edge of the Versamark to load it up, okay? Now, I'm not going to color this whole thing in. I'm just going to put some little white highlights where I want them, like so. And when I did the 3 watercolors before, this is what I did. I just went along certain areas that I wanted highlights on. So here I'm just putting in a little shine right in here, like so. And I'm just going to go around it. Let me try to be quick about this here, so you can get about your day and start practicing this on your own. Okay, so I just went around the edges, and I'm not going to do the outside. Okay, let me set this aside. Again, same thing. Very quickly, I am going to cover it in my clear embossing powder that's very, very dirty. And there we go. So next, I'm going to heat this with my heat tool. And watch it melt. There it goes. I'll get this part, and then I'll be done. Okay. I think that is, yep, that looks all melted. Okay, so I'm going to bring over my Brusho Crystal Color. It comes, like I said, in a pack of 5. And this is what they look like, and you'll notice that I have little thumbtacks in the top. That is so I don't open this. This is how I control how much I let out. Now I just grabbed a little palette. This was the one I was using before, and my colors have dried, but you know, I don't get rid of those because I can always continue to use them. I'm going to go ahead and take my red, just tap a little more in. That's how you do it. So you don't need much. A little goes a long, long way. So I'm going to take my Aquapainter here, and I'm not even squeezing this, just adding a little bit of water in there. Okay, so now, when I come over here and I start to watercolor, notice, look what it's doing. It is resisting that spot, see, where I used the Versamark. And so, I'm just, for real quick demonstration purposes, I'm just doing a very quick wash with red. But notice it's not going where the resist is. You see? See that? And here in a second, I will use a paper towel just to wipe that excess off. Let me see, I'm going to use a little bit of this color here. I blended and mixed several of these colors earlier on. So if I was going to really finish this, I would do a better job. But, oops, let me center this so you can see it better. You see? So, but look, it's not going where that resist is. So if I wanted to, I could, darken this in a little bit, maybe, and so on. Watercoloring is so fun because it's very forgiving, and there's so much you can do with it. I love to watercolor in most of my stamped images. There are a lot of ways you can color in images, but, this is just one of many. And you'll notice you can mix these to make other colors. You see I'm making a little bit of a green here. And, just to give you some examples of what you can do. So, anyway, but you see the resist there? Now what I'm going to do, just to show you, is I'm just going to take this and wipe that off. Wipe that extra ink off of where that resist went. And it just wipes clean. See? There you go. So, this is a really good way to enhance your artwork, because when you're watercoloring, sometimes you don't want the color to go in certain areas, and you can control where it goes and where it doesn't go. So here's one really awesome gift idea. You can do any theme you want, but I'm really partial to the beach theme right now. And I hope this got you in the springy, summery, beachy mood. And maybe you will plan to go to the beach yourself, or maybe if you can't, you can bring the beach to you. So get out there and play around with this technique. If you have any questions, let me know. I will include some of the supply lists in the comments or in the description area of the video. Subscribe to my channel, please. I would love to have more subscribers, and tell me if there are any techniques you would like to see. And if you want to order any of these products, visit StampinUp.com. You can choose me as your demonstrator if you need one, and I will provide all of that info in the description. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.